Hey, what's up guys, it's me again and welcome back to my channel Mayta What Ifs. Today I am back with a new short movie. The name of the short movie is What If Naruto's Death Started a Domino Effect. And yeah guys, it is an unscripted short movie and my own idea. Now before continuing this is the best title I could come up with for this. If you have any suggestions, do let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll change the title to that. And this is a dark short movie, so heads up for that. Enough said, without any further ado, let's begin with our today's short movie. Our story begins on the night it all started, October 9th, the night of the QB attack. Screams could be heard throughout the streets of Konoha. The villagers were running for the sake of their lives. The shinobis were dashing to the front lines. The Chunins and Genins were trying their best to evacuate the civilians. And the roars of a monster could be heard throughout the whole village, deafening the screams and yells of everyone. The QB no Yoko, the nine-tailed fox, as it was descending towards them, rampaging through anything that stood in its way, nature, earth, rocks, or the shinobis that formed the last line of defense. Men were dying left and right. The QB, getting more and more enraged by the delaying second, charged up its attack, the Bijudama. But before it could land upon Konoha, something happened. The orb disappeared and landed far away from Konoha with a huge explosion. The man who was in charge of the shinobis and kunoichis on the front line, he looked towards the site. "Everyone, hold your position. It looks like our Hokage has arrived." "Aye, Hiruzen-sama," said his men and women in unison, and with the newfound will to fight, they held their position. The QB was even more enraged than ever and continued to move forward. And that is when a huge shadow loomed over and headbutted the Biju. It was Gamabunta the Chief Toad. "Kid, you know what you need to do. I'll buy you as much time as possible, but I doubt that I will be more than enough for this Biju." And that was the only thing the people heard and realized. Even if they had a huge titan in their own side, it still wasn't enough to defeat the Biju. Hiruzen looked towards his successor, who was blazing through hand seals after hand seals as his clone went through pattern on someone that was placed in a basket. He knew it was someone because he could see little feet and hands moving, and cries of a child could be heard. Hiruzen, realizing that this was an infant child, arrived next to Hiruzen. "Minato, what are you doing, Minato? Bringing an infant child here, are you insane?" "This is my son. Kushina is going to bring the other boy after preparing the seal." "What do you mean by that?" "We are going to split the QB into two parts, the chakra and the soul." As that is when a red-haired woman arrived. She looked pale, exhausted, covered from head to toe in sweat in the cold month of October. She then said, "Minato-kun, prepare the seal. It will work and rip out the soul on its own. All we need to do is just hold the Biju in one place." "Kid, I don't think I will be able to hold on any much longer," said Gamabunta, as he was being thrashed by the Biju, was continuously rampaging and causing massacre left and right. As Kushina narrowed her eyes, biting down the chakra peels more than a normal person, she wrested out chains, adamantium ones, from her back and held the Biju in its place. "Minato, hurry. I can't hold him on any longer," were the only words she could say. Hiruzen watched in bafflement as Minato alone casted the hand seals of two different seals. And then the Biju was being extracted. Chains shot out, one black and one silver, from two boys that were placed there. One began to glow orange and the other one had dark chakra in it, and both of them began to split from the QB and enter the two Jinchurikis that were placed there. It's working," said Hiruzen, But Kushina gritted her teeth as her concentration was breaking. I can't hold on any much longer. Hurry, Minato. I'm trying. As Hiruzen looked towards Minato and Kushina, and only could pray and hope that this would be successful. Kamabunta was already laying down, exhausted from the battle, and poofed away, while the only words he said were that echoed throughout Konoha, I'm sorry, kid. And now they were back to square one, facing a monster that could kill and extinct them with an instant. The shinobis held on to their breath, and so did Hiruzen and everyone else, as the QB charged forward. But before it could attack, Hiruzen moved. He summoned Enma and turned him into a staff, and then using it, he blocked the attack from the QB. Sparks rose everywhere, as Hiruzen, using his whole adrenaline in his body, moved and was able to block the direct hit from the QB. Gritting his teeth, as blood began to seep out from his eyes and nose. I can't hold it much longer, Minato. Just a bit more. And then the QB felt weaken, and in the end, it began to disappear as well. No! Not again! Was the only roaring voice that it laid out before disappearing completely. Afterwards was a heavy moment of silence. Silence everywhere. All that hassle, all that movement has halted. People looked towards one another with disbelief in their eyes. They had done it. Konoha had done it. They had survived this battle. We have done it! And then the cheers erupted, which were deafening. As Hiruzen was on now his hands and knees, panting heavily, looking more than ever exhausted. Hiruzen, are you okay, my friend? But he couldn't respond to Enma, and then he passed out. We need medics here! Now! Said Minato, as he looked towards his wife and both Hiruzen, who were both hospitalized. Hiruzen passed out, and when he opened his eyes, he found that Jiraiya and Tsunade were there, both of them. And they had been waiting for him to wake up. Am I dead or something? Said Hiruzen jokingly. It's not funny, sensei. Your muscles tore themselves to the point that they can't be mended properly again. In English, please. I can't understand what you're saying, Tsunade. She means to say that you can't use chakra anymore or be an active shinobi. If you do, then you will be welcoming death by your own hands. Oh, so you mean to say I succeeded in stopping the QB? Yes, you did. When are you gonna stop playing the role of a hero, sensei? You could have died. I'm just glad to see that both of you care enough to come and visit me. What is the meaning of that, sensei? Of course we do. How about Minato and Kushida and their kids? Are they? Of course they're fine. Everyone is. You just need to get better. Kushida has recovered and woken up a week after the attack. A week? How much time has passed? A month. You have been laying here for a whole month. Asuma, he came back from the guard duty for the land of fire. What? Don't ask. He and every one of your family members have been very sick about you. And Minato has been trying his best to apologize and say that you're going to be fine. That is why Kushina begged Tsunade to come back as soon as she woke up. Well, I'm glad that you both did. Thank you. You don't need to thank us, sensei. Just rest and don't try to be a hero again. Yes, I'll try my best. And so, after that, Tsunade decided to again leave, even though Hiruzen insisted that she need to stay because of her senju hurt and whatnot. Once she left, it was Jiraiya, and now him again. Jiraiya moved him to the wheelchair so that he could wheel him out because Hiruzen was being discharged. And he was tasked to bring him to his home. Where are you taking me, Jiraiya? My home is that way. I know, sensei. There's something I need to discuss with Minato before we leave. He's waiting for you inside the Hokage office. What do you mean by that? Said Hiruzen, looking towards him. You could have just told me back in the room. No. Too many years. I couldn't take risk. Danzo? Could be. I'm not sure. And so, they arrived. After some time. There, Hiruzen found not only Minato but Kushina as well. And both of them looked a bit exhausted and down. I thought you would be happy to see me. It seems like it's the other way around. It's not that, old man. Because of us, you can't become normal again. What do you mean by that, Kushina? I mean, I am normal. It's just I can't be an active shinobi. Which I'm begging for because I have lived a long life in a profession where I have seen young men die. I'm just glad that I was able to survive that night as well. And so did Konoha. Well, you have to serve Konoha a bit more. What do you mean by that, Minato? Well, didn't Sensei tell you? No, I didn't. I brought you here because of that, said Jiraiya, moving from behind to front of Hiruzen. What is going on here? I already talked to them. And the truth is, we needed your help with this. Help with what? The child of prophecy. It's been chosen. I finally figured it out. Wait, child of prophecy? What do you... As Hiruzen remembered immediately. Back when he was young and Jiraiya newly became the part of the Toad Summoning Clan. A Toad Sage. Wait, is it about the prophecy that you mentioned when you were young and a new Toad Sage? Yes, same one. I'm surprised you still remember. As... That is when Jiraiya then said, it could be one of the sons of Minato and Kushina. Both of them have the potential. But I know which one it is. How can you be so sure, Jiraiya? It is Menma, the one that holds the chakra of the Kyuubi, the one that holds tremendous amount of power. He is the one who is going to either save this world or destroy this world. And seeing that it is a double-edged sword, we have to make sure that we take every caution and precaution here. Minato and Kushina have agreed that for the first 5 years they will be staying here. But after that, when you're capable of walking and being normal, you'll be taking over the job of the Kage for the time being, until we go and train. How long are you going to train then? And what is going to happen to the other child? Naruto. His name is Naruto. Said Kushina. Yes, Naruto. He will be under the care of Konoha. By then, Konoha will realize who he is. I mean, they kind of already do, because both of them have been revealed to Konoha. What? Yes. The very next day, revealed to Konoha and the council who the Jinchuriki is. I see. And how did the people take it? They took it well, if I might say so myself, Sensei, said Jiraiya. Right now, you need to focus and let both of them take care of their kids. I will be going out and trying my best to handle the situation. Situation? Of course. I want to make sure that this news doesn't leak out of Konoha, and also to make sure that the incident, it doesn't go far. Jiraiya, it's been a month. It would have spread. It hasn't. I've been trying my best, but I have to go somewhere physically to prove that. I'll be seeing you all later. And then Jiraiya took Hiruzen to his home and left. Hiruzen thought throughout the whole night what Jiraiya has said, and in the end only hoped that only the time will tell if Jiraiya was right again or not. And so, time began to pass by. 5 years went in the blink of an eye for everyone. And finally, the time had come. Jiraiya had returned again. And Naruto has already been informed, and he was prepared. But one thing Jiraiya and Hiruzen noticed. The bond between the two brothers, Menma and Naruto, was strong. Thanks to Kushina raising them, and with the Uzumaki code within them, in their blood and genes, it was evident that both cared extremely about one another. You don't need to worry about me, Menma. I'm gonna take care of myself. And besides, I have whole Konoha here with me. If anything, I'm just worried that they don't treat me like a prince or anything. Yeah, I'm gonna miss you. said Menma as he was on the verge of tears, and Naruto, who was being cheerful, then hugged him. You don't need to cry. Not like you're going away forever, or like you're not gonna see me again. Everything is going to be fine. You just need to focus and train for both of us. I wish I could have come with you, but as you know, the prophecy is needed. You're right. I have to do this for the sake of both of us. As Kushina also wiped a tear away because how proud she felt, and both she and Minato teased Naruto that he would become the prince of the whole Konoha or something along the lines of that. And Naruto, he kind of blushed and said that he wouldn't. And once they left, that is when Hiruzen took Naruto to the apartment where he would be staying at. Alright, Naruto. If you need anything, you know where to find me. I doubt I will be needing anything. I'm gonna be trying my best on my own. I'm not gonna be burdened on anyone. Are you sure, Naruto? Of course. I'm an Uzumaki and you know how prideful we are when asking about help. Of course. But you know where to find me, Naruto, just in case. Of course. GG. And with that, Hiruzen left and took the position of the Hokage. Everything was going great and smoothly. That is, until after only a few years, things began to turn bad. Naruto's attitude was tired, not the cheerful boy as he was. His eyes had dark circles underneath them. His eyes looked dead, and he had become a shell of his former personality, scared, shy, and distant. The people mocked him, called him the black sheep of Uzumaki no Mikaze family, and from there, the rumors just grew worse and worse. Some even began to claim that he was left behind because he was meant to be abandoned so that once they returned, he could be executed since he holds the Kyuubi soul. And many people began to believe that he was Kyuubi pretending to be Naruto. Without Hiruzen or the council finding out, this new group of people formed a cult, and their main goal was simple. Execute the demon. Finish what the fourth had started. Finish what the third had started. And they were gonna honor them by sacrificing this monster. They made his life living hell, taking their revenge of all those civilians that had died. And now that he was weakened and to the point that he was broken, before he could extend a hand to get help, he was taken. It was his 10th birthday. 5 years only had passed. Naruto, who was now a shy and a timid kid instead of the cheerful one as he was when he was younger, was found hanged in the center of the village. Wound marks all over his body. With kunais engraved in his skin were the kanjis of demon and sacrifice and so on and whatnot. Hiruzen was horrified. Take him down immediately. What the hell are you waiting for? Cover his body and bring him to medics. Hiruzen tried. The medics tried. They were doctors in the end, not gods who could revive a dead person. Hiruzen found it hard. It hit him hard. And now he was sitting in front of Enma and a piece of paper with a pen in his hand. His hands were shaking. Hiruzen, you have to tell them, my friend. I know, Enma, but how am I gonna tell them that I failed? That their son, that cheerful boy, he was found hanged by the people in the streets of Konoha. You have to tell them. That is the only way. Because if you don't, you will make things worse. I need time. Yes, a week. I need a week. I need to process things. I need to know how to write this and tell them before going along with this. Alright, Hiruzen, but no more than a week. Call me when you have done this. Trusting his old friend, Enma left, but Hiruzen, he was fearful. Naruto's burial has been made because the body was too far gone and it was haunting. Even by the Anbu standards, Kakashi, he had given up. As a week had passed, he barged into the Hokage office drunk. Kakashi, what is the meaning of this? As the Anbus arrived, grabbing him. What is the meaning of this? You asked me? You asshole! Why aren't they here? Where are they? Do they really not care about their son? Huh? They abandoned him. I get it. They abandoned him, didn't they? No, Kakashi, nothing of that. Then why aren't they here? Why is he dead? Why hasn't the criminals been held accountable? Why are they still in holding prison? Not punishment, not justice. You buried him. Is this what the will of fire is? Is this what Konoha stands for now? Kakashi, calm down. You're drunk. You're overthinking this. I don't think so. It was in Sarutobi. Mind your tongue, senpai. That is our Hokage. That is your Hokage, not mine. Tenzo, I give up. You're not worth to be followed. And neither are these people worth being protected. All of you are monsters. Monsters. And with that, Kakashi was let go as he left. Hiruzen sat there. Kage-sama, he's just drunk. He took it the hardest. I'm sure that he doesn't mean it. No, I know he does. Don't take it too hard. If you ordered, then there would be actions against him, said another Anbu. Why shouldn't I? I was left in charge of taking care of that child, while taking over Konoha. I failed at both. Kakashi is just stating his opinions. I don't mind. He has a soft and kind heart, hardened by the time and trials he has gone through. It's just that this one wasn't something that he couldn't endure. Neither could be said about me. Leave, please. And as they all left, Hiruzen sat there. What am I doing? I need to tell them. While only at the side inside Mount Miyaboku, Menma was training hard, but something felt off. He told Jiraiya and the others the same thing. We should check on Naruto. It's been a long time since a letter has arrived. How long has it been? It has almost been a year since a letter came. Maybe he's busy or has gotten too spoiled. We'll set him straight once we get back, said Kushina. But deep down even she felt unsettled. Even Minato began to worry. As another year passed, Sensei? He said, after yet another year later. What is it, Minato? Any news from Konoha about Naruto? Any letters? No, not this year. I'm surprised. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yes. Kushina and Menma are getting worried, and to be very frank, so am I. Has something happened? I want you to go and check, please. Alright. I'll go and check and see what is going on. But honestly, I think the kid has gotten the prince treatment and has become a bit of slacker. If that is the case, then I'm gonna be setting him straight. Yeah, I'm sure you will. And so Jiraiya returned and arrived inside Konoha. As soon as he did, he was led straight towards the Hokage office, where he found his sensei a bit different, a lot different, gloomy. Wow, sensei, talk about being gloomy. What happened? Did someone die? Yes, Jiraiya. Someone did. Who? What happened? Said Jiraiya, immediately realizing that his sensei wasn't laughing or joking around. Naruto. What? Naruto died. At first, Jiraiya couldn't process this. I'm sorry, Naruto who? What are you talking about? I don't know any Narutos aside from Minato's son. As Jiraiya stared at his sensei, and his sensei only stared at him back with guilty eyes. No, you're lying, right? Is this a joke? If it is, then it's not funny, sensei. You shouldn't be joking about such things. They're worried over there, you know? I'm afraid I'm not joking. His body was found hanged in the streets of Konoha by a cult that has formed. They all had deranged mindsets. They began to believe that Naruto wasn't Naruto. In fact, he was impersonating Naruto. And the person behind that mask was Kyuubi. What? That's absurd. I checked the seals multiple times. How could you let this happen? That's the thing. Not even the council, Anbus, nobody was aware. The leader was, in fact, a previous Anbu, the leader of the most dangerous squad of ours. He had retired and lost his whole family. And he was the one who orchestrated this, forming this cult, thinking that he was some sort of messiah who was sent to finish what we had started. Where are they? Where do you think they would be? 6 feet deep in the ground. I had them executed a while back. There was a lot of backlash, but the council, especially Danzo and I, agreed this was needed to be done. What am I gonna say to them? Menma. He felt something was wrong a long time ago. We tried to deny that, saying that he might have been treated as Prince. Prince? No. He wasn't treated as such. If anything, he was treated as worse. A monster. The boy who was seen as cheerful when he left was turned into nothing more than a shell of his former self. Shy, timid, and all by himself, alone. Why didn't you tell us? I found out through his memories, through the damage that was done to his brain by his own emotions. Thanks to Inoichi, who did the postmortem on his body before he was buried. Inoichi told that he had the trauma of a veteran that has gone through 8 wars and seen a lot of death. That much trauma was in that small mind and soul. And Inoichi himself couldn't bring himself to see his last moments. And that sent chills down Jiraiya's spine, because Inoichi and Yamanaka's were hard bastards who could do that. They could stomach the things by saying the memories of even the dead, the last final moments of their life that nobody could imagine. But even he couldn't bring himself to see Naruto's after evaluating his mind and heart. Jiraiya's whole throat was dry now, like sandpaper. What am I gonna tell Minato and the others? I don't know, Jiraiya. I tried to write a letter. Trust me, I did. I can't find it in myself to do so. How am I gonna break a news to a family who entrusted their child, believing it could be spoiled by Konoha, their love and adoration, and this is what they do in reality? This is a disaster. What are we gonna do? Someone has to tell them. I can't bring myself. I'm a coward, Jiraiya. Your sensei is a coward. You can, because you're not the one involved. I am. Then don't you see? I was the one who brought this up. In one way or another, I am involved in his death. Can't believe this. And so, Jiraiya called Pa and Ma, Fukusaka Urashima, the elder toads, and told everything to them. What do you want to do, Jiraiya boy? This is something heavy, and they deserve to know. They have a right to know. I can't do this. Neither can Sensei. Can you please? Alright. And so Pa and Ma took this heavy job of telling a family about their son and arrived there in front of them. Pa? What is going on? Where is Sensei? I thought you went to bring him back. Jiraiya boy told us something that is quite serious. I want you to call your family and sit down here for the time being. What is it? It's about your son, Naruto. Minato's heart dropped. And then he became worried. Did something happen? Is he sick? Did someone attack him? Is he hurt? He's dead. Has been. For a long time. What happened? Who did this? People of Konoha. They attacked him. A cult attacked him. What? As Minato saw Kushina and Menma coming, He looked towards them with tears in his eyes. Seeing that, both of them became quite worried, and once the truth was revealed and the cult was told to them, and what happened to them, they all stood there. You mean to say my son is dead? Said Minato. Kushina was already wailing, and her haunting wails of mother be heard throughout the whole Mount Miyaboku. Every toad, from the youngest tadpole to the elder Gamamaru, was silent, letting the mother mourn the death of her child. Menma, he was silent. Not like you're not gonna see me again. The words of Naruto rang in his head. The moment of time that he thought of a joke between two brothers turned out to be a reality. A dark reality. A nightmare. Something he was trying to wake up from but he couldn't. And something cracked within him. Visibly. I want to see his grave. Was the only thing Menma said. Son, don't hug me. I said I want to see his grave. And so Minato and Kushina brought Menma there. They cried at the small grave that was made far away from the graveyard of Konoha, an unmarked one to keep him safe. Kushina hugged that side and cried. My baby was the only thing she could wail. Menma stood there clenching his fists tightly until they began to bleed. Minato, he just stared, his eyes red from sorrow, from anger, from failure. Jiraiya stood far away, and Hiruzen even far, his head down in shame. And that is when he came, drunken. You're back, huh? Kakashi? Took you long enough. There I thought you didn't have a heart. You abandoned him. You know what the last cries of that boy were? He called your names. Wanted to see you when he couldn't. They gouged his eyes out. Kakashi choked on his own tears. He was in rough condition, still drunk. I've been taking care of this grave since he died. I arrived here to change flowers and saw you. So you finally came, huh? You finally found the guts to tell you something he has not told you for the past few years. As Menma, he stood there, listening into this. Why did you not do anything? I wasn't in Konoha. If I would have been, I could have done something. Then how do you know his last words? The people who killed him, they mocked. That is why I slit their throats one after the other. They were not executed by Konoha per se. Kakashi, what? You're gonna order me to calm down and handle this your way? That man didn't have the guts to do anything. I did. I avenged Naruto, he said, thumping his chest with his own finger. While you were away playing Child of Prophecy, training in the lands of toads, he was being a coward. Them laughing in the prison, I couldn't contain it. I did what I needed to do. And for that, a small price was indeed paid, said Jiraiya, as his wrists were shown in which markings of Fuinjutsu seals were visible, which were glowing. That's chakra containment seal, said Minato. A small price to pay. Konoha had to keep me on leash because they knew if I went as I was going, Konoha would cease to exist. It will, said Menma. What do you mean by that, Menma? Said Jiraiya. I said it will. Menma's eyes held a madness in them. Something that nobody has ever seen. What QB had started looked like amateur play when Menma began. Burst of chakra was released, mixed with his own and the orange chakra of the QB. Cracks formed onto the ground itself. Minato and Kushina was visibly pushed back, and he before they could call out his name, glared at them, "Don't." And that was more than enough for them to just remain there, shaking in horror as they saw their other son unleashing his rage. Uzumaki has a code. Never leave one of their own behind. I and Naruto both knew about this. I told him the night before I left that I didn't feel right about this, that maybe we should stay together or he should come with us, but he was adamant and comforted me that everything is going to be fine. He was going to be fine. He lied. He lied to me. But more than that, you and this village are the one who made him lie to me. I'm gonna do what the demon should have done. Finish what it started. And with that being the only words, Menma unleashed hell upon Konoha. A Bijidama made out of pure chakra was made. It was blue-orange combined together into something dark and ominous. Menma threw it to the center of the village, and when it dropped, a huge blinding light explosion erupted that shook Konoha and the surrounding places, shattering windows miles away. And where the bustling village once stood was nothing more than a gaping crater. As Menma then said, "It's only the beginning." One after the other, the same orbs were made and unleashed until the whole graveyard was wiped out. And where Menma stood, behind him only one grave remained, where Jiraiya, Hiruzen, and even Minato and Kushina stood, alongside with Kakashi, as in front of them was nothing left. A huge crater, so deep that it looked like half of the earth was wiped out. Menma still wasn't calm, but only stopped as he felt someone grabbing his shoulder. It was his mother, who was still with tears in her eyes. I don't want to lose my other son." As Menma began to cry, letting out wails as he hugged his mother. "He didn't deserve this. Why did he have to die? Why did they kill him?" were the only things that he could wail about. Hiruzen collapsed onto the ground, clutching his heart. His own family too was wiped out. Karma was the only thing he could think. Sensei! No! Hold on, please! No, Jiraiya. This time, I can't be saved. Clutching his heart, he gasped for breath. Then, it stopped. Out of sheer traumatization, Jiraiya witnessed his sensei die, and it also impacted him. Minato, Shina, you have to calm him. Konoha is gone already, and so is sensei. I'm not gonna be calm. This world, if it tries to mess with me and my family, it will burn. With that, the family of three left, and the grave of Naruto, Kakashi stood there. I'm still gonna remain here so that he doesn't feel alone. I understand why they left. They still need time to admit it. The thing is, what are you going to do now, Jiraiya? I don't know. Kakashi turned, took off his mask, and chugged down the huge bottle of sake and destroyed it next to a tree before tumbling his way back to his small hut where he resided now, laughing at the demise of Konoha by the hands of a sibling that held the power. Jiraiya returned after burying his sensei to Mount Miyaboku. The elder warned him, the powers of the child of prophecy has awakened, but not in a good way as we had expected. Instead, it is what we feared. The child of prophecy, instead of a savior, has awoken as a destroyer. Mark my words, Jiraiya, he might have been halted. But if any aggression was continued towards him, that is the only thing that awaits for Konoha and the land of elemental nations. Konoha is already dead. The land of elemental nations is the only thing that remains. Jiraiya then began to drift, leaving Mount Miyaboku. And that is when he began to pay less and less attention to his spy network. Most of them even left and dispersed. But some of them who were still active began to send him reports. Huh? What do they want? I don't need any more reports. They can just give up. They want to help you, Jiraiya. This is a report that has been given to me from our Rain Country spy. Just listen to this. As Jiraiya read the reports, it talked about an organization known as Akatsuki working with Orochimaru. And they were planning to capture each and every Biju. And they were planning something big after that. This is not good. Naruto is good. Menma is going to be on their hit list. I need to go and warn them. Jiraiya knew where to find his student. If anything, he was grateful about his spy network. That was that he could keep tabs on his student and his family. It has been years since the incident, since Konoha was wiped out, since his sensei has died. As he arrived back to where the grave was, Kakashi, now much more older and ragged, was still there. As he then said, well, I'll be damned. Jiraiya, you finally showed your face here. Can you tell me? Did he left already? Yes, he did. He wasn't alone though. Enma had came. And he was grateful to me and asked about you. I need to meet them. It's your funeral. Be my guest. They went that way. He said, pointing towards the direction as Jiraiya dashed. But as he continued to do so, he couldn't find anything until he heard a voice. Why are you tailing us, Jiraiya? What do you want? My patience is growing thin, so tell me now. Menma, I need to talk to you and your parents. No. I already lost one of my family members because of your bullshit and Konohas. I'm not gonna lose any more. Tell me what you want. I'll be the one deciding if it's necessary or not. Your life is in danger. Again with this bullshit. You honestly believe I will buy that? You're insane, Jiraiya. I already lost my brother. I'm not going to fall for it again. Because you are nothing more than a monster who causes misfortune to befall on the people whose life you're in. Please, I'm begging you. Your life is in danger. Akatsuki, they're... Menma Uzumaki Namikaze. Thanks to Jiraiya taking our bait, we were able to finally find you. No. Damn it. See? I told you, Jiraiya. You are a disaster. A curse. As Jiraiya heard those words, that is when Menma turned towards them. What do you want from me? Come with us peacefully, or what? This man dies. As Kakashi was brought forward, beaten to a bloody pulp. Don't do it, kid. I lived this useful life already. You have a whole life ahead of you. Don't do it. You beated him. You heard it, Kakashi. You heard it, someone who stays close to my brother. Yes, and we will beat your parents as well. No, don't, said Jiraiya. But before that man could finish, Menma was in front of him. Black lightning was leaving his body. Chakra again enveloped him. You would dare do that? As Menma literally had the man's head in his hand, blood dripped from it. The man's body went limp into the ground. The whole Akatsuki was shook. They had people with dojutsu in them. And even they couldn't see what happened. You think you came here, picking a fight? No. Came to the lion's den. And the cage is already closed. Run, little piggy, run. And so, they tried to fight. Some tried to run. Menma hunted them down. He was much more vicious, like a predator, playing with its prey before killing them, but much more ferociously and brutally. One after the other, like a horror movie, Naruto hunted them down, and they all fell victims. In the end, nobody was spared aside from Jiraiya, who watched this brutality. One man tried to claw into his ankle, trying to get his attention. Please, help me, Jiraiya. It was Orochimaru. Something he hasn't seen his teammate turned rival and a monster do grovel at his feet. Orochimaru. And that is when Menma appeared, jumping from the back, literally putting his both hands into his jaw and yanking it upwards, cracking his skull open as blood splattered, as the screams turned into gurgles of Orochimaru. Jiraiya stood there, frozen, watching this with horrified expression. Menma, you need to calm down. Calm down. I'm not willing to lose any more of my family, Jiraiya. As Menma stood up straight after breaking the neck of Orochimaru, who was already in agony, and he now was facing Jiraiya. Jiraiya's blood ran cold as Menma's hands rose, but he wiped his blood onto his clothes. Make sure nobody come close to me or my family again, Jiraiya. Next time I won't be able to contain myself like how I did just now. With that, Menma began to walk away towards Kakashi, who was wounded but still alive. You alright, Kakashi? Of course I am. I'm still gonna stay here. No. Your family, Kakashi. You're coming with. Naruto would have wanted you to be with us. I don't deserve to be with you or Sensei. I failed a lot of people in my life, Menma. And I failed them by not being able to protect Naruto. This wasn't your fault. I've been meaning to tell you this for a long time. Let's go home, Nissan, said Menma, as Kakashi finally felt that he was seen. His efforts were seen, and so he accepted and left. As both of them went away, Jiraiya stood there in front of the bodies that were painting the whole surroundings red. Craters upon craters left everywhere. As he looked towards the graveside and walked towards it and bowed, I'm sorry, Naruto. If this didn't happen to you, it would have not led to this. And that is when he connected the dots. Menma, who was the child of prophecy, who he has chosen rightfully as the heir of the child of prophecy, was turned into a monster created at the hands of Konoha himself, created at the hands of his sensei and his own self as well. And Jiraiya couldn't contain it, clutching his heart as he could hardly breathe. His vision began to blur. Then he collapsed, dying there. Elemental Nation, the remaining one, saw this as a cautionary tale, labeled Menma as a monster not to be approached by anyone under any circumstances, because it was a demon that has killed its own, and it could kill them and do much worse to them if not being careful. Nobody moved, even Jiraiya's corpse. It turned into a skeleton there, and slowly but surely began to disappear as well. A remnant, a reminder of how a small incident can ignite a domino effect that can lead to this. As this is where I will be leaving the story of, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you did, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel, and follow me on my Apollo Uchiha channel as well. And without any further ado, let's end the story here, as this is it for the day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.